you have to think about the customer journey and what it actually takes for a customer to actually convert. If we had just decided to follow and look at purchases solely, this client probably would not have been very happy with me very early on. Hey everyone, my name is Carmen and I am a senior client manager here at Solutions 8. My topic today is to talk to you about how you should put on your CMO thinking cap to determine how Google Ads might fit into your overall marketing strategy. So we had a client who came to us last year. They run a winery in the US and they wanted to incorporate Google Ads into their overall strategy. They didn't really know what their goals were, so it was really up to us as a team to structure the campaigns for this client. They just thought that Google Ads would be beneficial for them in the long run, which in this case was definitely the right move for them. So the first thing that we had to think about was the customer journey. And of course, this is really important because it will help to structure how Google Ads will actually play into your overall strategy. So taking me into consideration, I love wine personally, but it's really rare for me to purchase a bottle without ever trying it or even having ever heard of the brand. And this winery was relatively newly established. Their website was new. And so we knew that in order for people to even know about them, buy their wines, we had to get customers into the winery first before they would make any kind of purchases. They needed to try the wine first. So even though the winery came to us and they had this online store built out, they were structured for e-commerce, we quickly decided after a few months of testing that focusing on the e-commerce side of things as that first step for us was just not going to work for our overall strategy. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here you can see in this chart here, I'm looking from September 1st, 2023 till now, that although in Q4 there were quite a few purchases for Black Friday, the Christmas holiday, but when we entered 2024, purchases honestly weren't that much. And we knew this from the beginning that we weren't going to really focus on purchases as being our major goal because of what I had said earlier in terms of the customer journey, how we needed to get people into the winery first for them to try the wine and then make a purchase as a second part of the customer journey. So there are 3 campaigns that we launched for this specific purpose. The first one we launched was a smart campaign. So a smart campaign allowed our ads to show up in Google Maps. So the thought process of this was that when someone is in the United States or in that area looking for a winery to go to, they're going to go into Google Maps and say, oh, what's the next winery that is in close proximity to us and that we could go to visit? So having our ads show up in the maps, in Google Maps, through the smart campaign allowed us to reach that portion of the audiences. Now, the second campaign that we launched was a dynamic search campaign, and we targeted the area of San Francisco because the client's winery was located inside of Napa Valley. So how was this campaign structured? If we go into here, you'll see that we have a lot of different ad groups that will allow people to go to the different pages of the website that we thought were important, but most of the conversions do go to the home page. So what kind of keywords were coming up? The search terms that we were looking for included Napa wine tasting, Napa Valley wine tasting, Napa Valley winery. And why were these good search terms for us? Because as I talked about earlier, we're trying to build that brand awareness for this winery. And we needed to have a lot of top of funnel search terms for people who are just in the area and looking for wineries to taste or wineries to visit. So when we're seeing these top of funnel Napa wine tasting wineries in this dynamic search campaign, we knew that we were headed in the right direction because people were also converting. You can see here there's 36 conversions in the last 30 days for people who were just doing that top of funnel research, the keyword research to see what they could visit when they were in the Napa Valley area. So again, this is perfect for our client who is looking to build that brand awareness and getting more visits to their winery. So the third campaign that we built out was a competitor campaign. Now, this is a really interesting strategy and doesn't necessarily always work, but in this instance, it totally worked. So as I said, our winery is relatively newly established, so there's not a lot of people who might even be able to search for the brand name and know about them unless they visited them before, right? Now, when we piggyback off of competitors who have long established brand recognition and start bidding on those terms and then showing our ads for them when people are doing that initial phase research. So say someone was looking up for a competitor here, can't name them unfortunately at this point, but they were looking for a competitor winery, our ads show up. We have gotten 16 conversions for just this one competitor and over 100 conversions in the last 30 days for people who were looking for competitor wineries and then converting on ours because they were just doing that research. They saw our ad and they decided, okay, well, why not? I never heard of them. They have a pretty decent website. Let's go check them out too. So this is actually one of our main strategies that we discovered really works for this client in terms of generating more winery visits winery visits. And actually, in the last 30 days, almost 60% of the conversions that we got came from Google Ads that we could see from Google Analytics. So overall, what I wanted to share with you guys today was that even though a client can come to you and say, hey, I have an e-commerce store, I want to only look at ROAS or purchases, right? But you need to think about this from a CMO perspective and think about it from their perspective. Yes, we can run Google Ads, but is just focusing on e-commerce in this particular situation the right way to go? You have to think about the customer journey and what it actually takes for a customer to actually convert. If we had just decided to follow and look at purchases solely, this client probably would not have been very happy with me very early on because purchases don't come that often just purely on the website.
Let's go and gets 5.
Just to give you some context, John, basically the main concern that the client has is in regards to lead volume. I've been trying to run the account in broad on a TCPA.